Back on the land, and today we're going to be focusing on the plants and plant material and chopping and dropping the plants. As you may know by now, one of our biggest concerns is the lack of organic material inside of the soil. So I have to get creative, bring stuff from my own garden, bring things that maybe somebody has donated from their own garden or their own farm, which I will have available to you guys eventually for those who want to help and donate. But also utilizing what's already on the land, and that is all of these creosote bushes that we don't really need to be that large at the moment. And with the rainy season coming, it's going to be a perfect time to start chopping them up so that they can have new growth come in. We do have some sad news though. Our camera fell. And so, mind you, I'm only come here once a week and I live multiple hours away. And so I'm not going to be coming here when the camera falls or if something happens like that. I'm just going to wait until my scheduled time to come out here. So we weren't able to get any footage this week of any animals. This is the only footage we got, but I have seen more tracks today. And so I will be placing them in a different spot. I will be placing this in a completely different area. And hopefully next week I'll have even more footage for you guys. And here is the final product. I put up the camera right away, and so we can finally get some wildlife on this. Well, we can hope. There is a lot of pause on this path, and so let's see what we can get if the wind doesn't knock it over. Now today, Luis, a friend of mine, came through and I asked him to dig a bunch of holes in the ground. You know, I want a bunch of pits. And it even inspired my son to do his own water catchments with his shovel, as he's showing it off right here. Now, these pits, what I'm going to call them are nabo pits. And nabo in the Taino language, which is my heritage, that means sprouts, new growth, new sprouts, things like that. And so these nabo pits are going to be almost like garden pots that I am going to be creating its own mixture of organic material and its own soil, really. And so I'm going to use these bowls in the ground and create my own compost. I am going to create its own little mini forest in each one of these. I wanted the indentation because I wanted the water to really come through and sit, and I also wanted depth so that I can add more and more layers of different types of organic material, sticks, manure, leaves, and other cuttings. And when the rains come and the water sits in these bowls with all of this material, it is going to start that breaking down process along with the compost tea that we're going to be providing every single bowl. And it's really going to promote growth of fungi. It's going to promote a lot of bugs. It's going to bring a lot of bugs in, right? And so we're going to create this little mini forest within each one of these bowls, and I'm calling them nabo pits. Now, obviously, these are a little rough around the edges. We still have some smoothing over to do, but I hope you get the vision of what these pits are going to look like. Besides that, I want to get to working on the dam because this is very important. This dam is going to stop this flow of water. Now, we already have our first swale. It is really tiny. It's more deeper than it is wide, but I want to have some dams and mimic the beavers that were once here many eons ago, so that we can slow this water up. My son dug his own, so this is a good example of what we're going to be doing. Every 10, 15, 20 feet, we're going to be creating a dam. And so I am going to be using I guess what the beavers would be using. Maybe they wouldn't be cutting creosote bush, but they would be using materials from the land. And so that is what I'm going to be doing. Thankfully, my children are very curious and they ask questions. So I have lots of opportunities when they're on the land to teach them something, to teach them what I'm doing exactly, because it could look kind of weird. But teach them the way of the land, how to take care of the land, how to work with the land, and really how to rebuild the land over time. As you can see, my son is just absolutely loving this because, well, he doesn't get a chance to swing around a sharp axe on a daily basis. So because we're out here, you know, the rules change up a little bit, and I trust him to, you know, help me in any way that he can. And then, of course, it leads my daughter to, you know, want to join us and want to learn and just help us however she can. So I'm super grateful that it inspires them to do something, you know, do some type of action to help and work with the earth. And I know as they grow bigger, they are going to appreciate these types of moments with their family so much more. And they kind of feel famous when they end up seeing themselves on our TV, on YouTube, or on our phones. And so I think it's a really cool experience for them to get out here and get a little bit more comfortable with the camera and just learn about the earth. Something as simple as building a dam like this requires much more time when you are being very mindful of the animals and of the environment. And so this project has really taught me and my children about patience and just repetition and how not to get bored with it. Instead, get inspired by what you can finish. While we were working, we were visited by this guy right here. It is one of the dogs I believe we are capturing on camera during the night. And a part of me has been thinking whether dogs like this, I don't know if they're owned by man or not, whether they're beneficial or harmful to the environment. On one hand, they could be providing, you know, organic material in the form of carcasses that they eat, their dung, their urine. But then another part of me thinks it could be quite controversial with the native animals that are there, the native predators like the coyotes and the foxes, which these dogs can easily just mess up and take their food source. I want to know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. I am not going to chase them off of the land. I am here to be a steward. I'm also here to be an observer because they were here before I was. And so I feel like it's not my right to kick them off. And finally, after multiple hours and plenty of help from my little workers, we finally finished this so-called dam. Now, this isn't something that you would have found 1,000 years ago, but it is what's gonna do. You know, this is what we have on the land, and this is gonna at least allow some water to stop flowing. Now, before I headed out for the day, I wanted to gift the land with a couple of things from my garden, my kitchen, and really do my part to provide biomass into the area because it's gonna need all the help it can get. And so thank you to one of the people who commented on my last video and inspired me to remember this part because every time I do come to the land, I usually leave the bag of compost that I was wanting to bring. And so I'm gonna be a lot more mindful of it from now on. And there you have it, guys. That was the whole day. It took lots of hours, plenty of sweat and hard work, but we got a couple of things done. And we are here to just move one step in front of the other. Okay, we are here to get better and improve the land every single day, even just a little at a time. And I want to end the video with this beautiful sunset that you guys can just enjoy with me. And I will see you guys on the next video.